In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000, my heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we're expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at advertise@k98talk.org. K98talk.com, a leader in internet radio. So grab your seatbelts and take the ride of your life on K98talk.com.
Intergalactic planetary, intergalactic.
Welcome to the podcast you've always wanted. It's The Right Angle with Bill and Leslie.
Well, now. Hey, everybody. Welcome to The Right Angle. I'm Leslie. He's Bill. Hi, Billy.
Hi.
Later tonight, I insist that tech expert Bill give a quick review of the iPhone 6S because I desperately need to upgrade. And he's like bursting at the seams to talk about the new Microsoft Surface Pro and Surface Book. So we're kind of crossing the streams with the Gadget Corner later. But first, we need to get serious, ladies and gentlemen. As seen last week and over the weekend, we have a serious problem in our nation. Almost an epidemic that has been exacerbated, some say, by our inactivity. This requires some long overdue attention. It's past time that we do something and have a national common sense conversation about early Christmas decorating.
I want to have, as I said on Twitter before, we need a comprehensive law that protects dogs from their single 40-year-old lady owners who try to put them in doggy Halloween costumes year after year.
I'm going to come back to that.
Put your dog in a sunflower costume for Halloween.
I want to come back to that at the end of the show because it's funny you mentioned that. Not that I've ever done it. I have not ever done it. But anyway, no, that's just a joke about the early Christmas decorating. I meant every word that I said, but that's not our topic tonight. Of course, we want to talk about the predictable knee-jerk reaction of gun control advocates following any tragedy like we've been seeing in the past 5 days. So what's going on, Billy?
A bunch of people died. Like always.
Yes.
But
besides Chicago, what's going on?
Some guy who, is black or white, depending on what TV station you're watching, went into a community college in Oregon because he was a fucking lunatic and shot a bunch of people. And some of them in kind of creative and disgusting ways. And he eventually, gave himself a taxpayer relief shot to the face, and that was the end of that. But, it's time to have a conversation about guns that doesn't go anywhere and includes no words.
Like every time. And I dare say that most of us who are on this side of the issue find it especially egregious that supposedly the president of the whole United States, could not run fast enough to he probably left an Obama-shaped hole in the Oval Office wall to get over to the microphone to start his rhetoric up before the bodies got cold.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really have a lot to say specifically about the Oregon thing. What I do think is particularly funny is generally we have people on the left who will come out with ideas about, well, we should try this, we should do this. It just seems like no one has any ideas now. And when they say, well, it's time for, gun law, gun control, national gun control. They use words, national gun control, comprehensive. Let me just start by saying this, if I haven't already on Twitter and if I haven't on this show yet. I absolutely fucking hate the word comprehensive. I hate it. It doesn't mean anything. We're going to have comprehensive immigration reform. We need comprehensive gun control, comprehensive talk about science, comprehensive action on climate change. What the fuck does that word mean? It's like, I don't think they understand what that word means.
Well, I think that's it. I think there's plenty of uses for the word, but not in the context that they're using it.
Well, I'm sure there is. It's just that it seems like somebody somewhere did some market research and decided that comprehensive was the best word that they should use. And so for the last 8 years, that's all the fuck we've heard from Obama.
You know why? Because to the left, the definition of comprehensive is we're going to solve all your problems with this simple solution that makes everybody feel good. That's what comprehensive means to them. So we can fix it all. We can magically fix it all, and we're all going to feel good.
Well, I don't know what the word means to them, but comprehensive immigration reform, that's the other way. And I see people on the right doing it now, too. Yeah, we need comprehensive immigration reform. What the fuck does that mean? Why don't you just have immigration reform? Why does it have to be
Because if you have immigration reform, it's not going to solve everybody's problems.
I feel like Wallace Shaw in The Princess Bride. That word, I don't think you know what it means. You keep using that word.
That word you keep using.
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it does.
Right.
But no, so I do this thing on Twitter and elsewhere, did it a couple of times in real life in bars the last couple of days. When people go, yeah, we need to have gun control reform, or da-da-da-da, I go, okay, well, tell me, what would you do differently? Well, I mean, come on, you shooting your mouth off. You need something. What? You're the guy you're the guy that has all the ideas. We're gonna have all this comprehensive whatever. Give me some of these damn things. Give me some of these ideas. Well, they just, they have nothing.
Yeah. So I think this happens every single time, and it's interesting because
it's much worse this time, I think.
I think there's more attention being paid to it because we're in the midst of the presidential campaign, and now you've got the candidates having to, frankly, the Democrat candidates having to kind of put a stake in the ground about it.
Hillary took one step into this conversation and then took 18 back.
Yeah.
Her first foray into this discussion was to blame a law that was signed into that was supported by her husband as president, and then later signed into law by her husband, who was, by the way, president of the United States.
Right,
so
and that would be an assault weapons ban?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
She took one step back, she took one step forward, 18 back, and the 19th step was to put her foot in her mouth. Stupid.
Sounds like pretty much every policy. But yeah, so I think people are paying more attention to it now, not only because it's repetitive, but how fast, all Obama and all the Democrats that got into their, regular positions and, so immensely disrespectful. I think the other interesting thing in this case is that some of the Oregon families of the victims are actually speaking out saying, number one, we don't even want Obama to come here to politically grandstand about this like he did at the White House. And number two, this hasn't changed our pro-Second Amendment stance at all. These are the families of young people that are injured and dead. Not all of them, but from what I've seen in the media, they're like, I wish my daughter had a gun that day. I wish the school wasn't a gun-free zone.
Gun-free zones are awesome, aren't they? They had one security guard on the premises at that university, and he was unarmed.
Yeah,
he's not really a security guard, is he? He's more like a night watchman.
It's more like Paul Blart Mall Cop.
He has a phone and a walkie-talkie.
It's like Kevin James in Paul Blart Mall Cop.
What if he had a Segway? I mean, but it's ridiculous.
Then he would have shown up faster to get shot.
I don't think the security guard did get shot, actually.
Because he didn't have a Segway.
He's probably table.
Here's the thing about your gun-free zones. Crime Research Prevention Center wrote in an op-ed in Chicago Tribune, since at least 1950, all but 2 mass public shootings in America have taken place where general citizens are banned from carrying guns.
I don't think that's intentional, by the way.
Why not?
I don't think that lunatics have the presence of mind usually to plan those things out. I think it just kind of works out that way.
I don't agree. I mean, you got actually in this.
Well, there's never been a single one that's ever said that they deliberately targeted an area because of that.
No, but there's
usually it's my dog told me to.
There's circumstantial evidence, like you got the Aurora, Colorado shooting. There were 7 movie theaters within 20 miles, and the one guy, the one theater that the guy picked was the one that was where firearms were banned.
Did he say that's why he picked that theater?
No, I'm saying it's circumstantial evidence.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I feel like I feel like the evidence is kind of coincidental if it happened and it wasn't intentional? Why don't you think criminals and nuts target the most vulnerable, the weakest and the most vulnerable?
I don't think lunatics target anybody specifically. I think they do it because they're insane.
Okay.
Murderers certainly do, but I don't think a guy like James Holmes, who thought that he was the Joker from Batman, and that he was receiving instructions from otherworldly people, I can't imagine that there was a whole lot of reality interspersed with his planning.
I can't say.
Just me, though.
Yeah, I gotta say I don't agree with you on this point. But anyway, we're kind of going off topic here. So I think we both agree that, I think what you started saying, that if any gun control advocate wants to really be honest and take the argument to its logical conclusion, it's always going to go to confiscating guns. It's always going to go to just saying we want fewer guns. We don't want anybody to have guns, and that's going to solve everything. Do you agree?
No, I think it'll go to lockout chips now, not confiscation.
What's a lockout chip?
It's a technology I'm not quite sure has been put into practice in the real world, but there are RFID tags. They are theoretically talking about attaching in some permanent manner to firearms to prevent them from being used in specific areas. It would lock the gun out so that it wouldn't be able to be fired at certain people or places or whatever. I'm not exactly sure how the technology would work. I think it's still kind of theoretical, but
all right, but
it's in the stages where they have prototypes now. So
okay,
I would think it would go to that state.
But I'm not talking about like what it would go to, like in actuality. I'm talking about in this day and age, in the past several years, what the argument is, what the feelings are of a gun control advocate.
Well, they're usually the Australian model, which
right,
that is confiscation of firearms. But
right,
we know
and
that
go ahead.
The thing is that most countries that either forbid the use of firearms, restrict them, or they don't. People kill each other with other things. Okay, like in the United Kingdom, they have something like 30 or 40,000 vicious knife attacks a year in the United Kingdom because they don't have guns, so they stab each other instead. So what's better? I mean,
and by the way, they still have gun crimes too.
They do, but intentional homicides with firearms in the UK is quite low. The incidence rate is well below 5,000 a year. It's in the hundreds, I think. But meanwhile, violent attacks with knives and axes and hatchets and stuff are on the rise. 30, 40,000 a year.
Yep, because the crazy person, the violent person, or the criminal are still going to find their weapons.
Yeah, look at that attack, that knife attack they had. That they had like 10 Muslims in China. They went into a train station. They killed like 40 people with knives.
Knife attacks are relatively common in China, aren't they?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
but
I keep hearing about it.
They are in the UK.
Yeah. And then the other thing with Australia, it kind of like it turns my stomach every time I hear somebody talking about Australia as this glaring, this beautiful glowing example. Like they don't mention, they talk about it like benignly, like, oh, they have common sense gun control laws, and oh, the incidence of gun homicide has gone down. But the fact is that was a big, huge, sweeping continent-wide confiscation program. Back in 1996, it was an involuntary buyback program, and even through that, they had about 3 million firearms, and they were able to buy back between like 650,000 and 1 million firearms, so like a fifth to a third. We have 300 to 400 million firearms, and we like them, and we have a constitutional protection here. So you can't even. That's like saying. I would like to say, actually, I think we should turn this around and say, hey, Australia has a pretty interesting immigration program where they literally turn away boats at the door with their government and their guns. Maybe we should look at Australia's common sense immigration program. Oh, well, that wouldn't work. Oh, well, we would have to deport 11 million immigrants. But we can't talk about that. And I'm not saying, and I'm an advocate for that, but you refuse to talk about deporting 11 million immigrants, but you want to try to confiscate 300 to 400 million firearms.
Yeah. In a lot of countries where the government is incredibly paternalistic, like in Australia or in the United Kingdom, they can to a great degree get away with some of these types of things because people in those countries are used to living in a place where government knows best.
Yeah, they're used to it.
And so when the BBC says that they're the only one that can own television stations, nobody says anything. You know, when the government says we're the only people who can tell you what's going on in the world and run a TV station, people are like, yeah, that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's not who we are, never has been. The fact that this country was founded specifically on an armed rebellion against tyranny, and the protection of being able to do an armed rebellion against tyranny is written into our primary federal law, kind of precludes the same passivity that you would have ever had in Australia. And I got to say, like I said, it nauseates me to have our president, forget, anybody who wants to opine about it, anybody who wants to change the nature of the republic can have their opinion, but our president speaking about a tragedy when he's supposed to be saying something unifying to the nation, and he's just making everybody who doesn't want to confiscate guns into an asshole. That's gross.
Yeah, I suppose so. I'm not too offended by that. Because if you really believe that, people like Wayne LaPierre are really an impediment to keeping people alive, then yeah, I mean, I wouldn't shy away from calling him a douche either. I mean, George Bush didn't. Many times.
I don't understand what you just said.
Doesn't matter. It's time for a break.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. We will be right back with The Right Angle with Bill and Leslie. See you back in a minute.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of our military service members or their families, asking them to put themselves in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to keep them secure for the rest of their lives. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Join us at findwwp.org.
The staff of K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network is proud to announce that our very own Rowdy Rick Robinson has been selected as one of the top conservative talk show hosts in the nation for his program America Off the Rails. Again, congratulations to Rowdy Rick Robinson for a job well done and another reason to stay connected to K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network.
This is JD.
And this is Stacy.
Join us Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern for Game On. Remember,
lock up the children and the old folks.
Game On, the home of liberty-conservative conservatism.
Where no one is safe and no one is spared, not even the hosts.
Oh, that was supposed to be a spin cycle. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. We love you anyway. Right round, baby.
Self-monitoring
right
Ebola radio strikes again.
Anyway.
Anybody see the host monkey? Today. Where's the host monkey? Where's the host monkey? For God's sake, I need an antidote. Just do your rant. Let's pop out of the segment.
Has to do with
Find us on Twitter at JD and Stacy.
You're listening to K98Talk.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
And we're back with The Right Angle with Bill and Leslie, the podcast you've always wanted. I want you to remind everyone that we are available on iTunes, so we would love if you would subscribe to us on that. And I think there are reviews. I've never gone and looked at them, but I think you can leave a review as well. So go for that. I would prefer for you to leave your reviews to me directly, me and Billy directly on Twitter. So we are talking about the gun control knee jerks in reaction to the latest mass shooting, very sad tragedy, atrocity in Oregon. Billy, I have kind of a who knew about
what's that?
The Oregon shooting. This is not something that I've seen widely publicized. Back in 2012, just trying to find the right place to look at this. Back in 2012, there was a shooting in Oregon targeting, hang on. Okay, there was, in the town of Clackamas, Oregon, in the town center mall in December 2012, there was a shooting that was stopped by an armed citizen. We never heard of it at the time, I'm sure. Us and our listeners certainly never heard of this. And this is before Sandy Hook. So I think Sandy Hook kind of, you could arguably say, is sort of the catalyst of the attention of shootings in recent years. So this was a shooter 2 weeks before Christmas. They opened fire in the mall.
I remember that in the mall. I remember that now.
Yeah, okay. I never heard it. They opened fire in the mall. He killed 2 people, but then an armed citizen who is concealed carry. The shooter was having difficulty with the weapon. The armed citizen pulled his handgun, and he took aim, and he didn't fire. And then the shooter ran away and killed himself.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, it was definitely a who knew to me, but
I didn't remember the name of the town, but I do remember that though.
Yeah, I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, he was in a mall and the guy ran off.
Yeah. So, and that's the kind of thing that infuriates me, because you have resources that reveal every day how citizens save themselves in self-defense. They save their homes, they save their families, and on occasions like this, they save, the public at large within an area from a shooting. But the knee-jerks kind of completely ignore all that. Second thing I wanted to mention before we close out the gun control thing, just because this blows my mind, and this might be a who knew for some people who aren't really avid gun owners, is that the famous Smith & Wesson factory is in Massachusetts, which of course you know.
Where people are not allowed to actually own guns.
Right. It blows my mind, and I'm just going a little bit into personal anecdotes, because we know our next topic is you slobbering all over Microsoft. So I need a minute to slobber over Smith & Wesson. So I've been lucky to go to the factory twice. It's 2 hours away from me, and they have a factory in a shooting center. But it gets to my point about how rigorous the anti-gun ownership effort is, and it particularly, of course, in certain states like Massachusetts. So I went there the second time, and I did a factory tour. And of course, you have to sign your life away and make sure that you're not a felon to go into the factory tour. And it was absolutely spectacular.
Really?
Which part?
You have to actually say you're not a felon to go in there?
Oh yeah, you're gonna say you're not.
Is that true?
You're gonna say you're not a part of. Yeah, you're not a part. You're not like currently in any criminal proceeding.
That's fascinating. I never knew that.
I don't know how they could. I mean, I don't know how they would really check on you. I think it's more for liability. I don't know how they would check. Oh, you got to do everything. You got to give them your license. You got to do everything.
Oh. Well, I went to go visit the Hershey factory. They didn't make me a test that I don't have diabetes. Weird. It's pretty weird.
That's funny. So, and it was fascinating. And the Performance Center, any Smith & Wesson fan will know that the fanciest part of Smith & Wesson is the Performance Center, where they do the special refinements and the customizations and the extra special fabrication and whatever. And of course, that's a place that's private and the public is not allowed in, except for your certified ray of sunshine. I managed to finagle my way into the Performance Center, and we all know why. And that was just awesome. And I got like an hour to they're just showing me how they work every station, and it was fabulous. So, now this is bliss, right? So then you leave that and you go to the shooting center, which is the store that you can buy their firearms, or you can buy, the gear, the accessories and whatever. And there's a range there. That range is like, I would not recommend that to anybody on the planet, because it's one of the 2 or 3 places in Massachusetts that you can shoot a firearm without a permit to own or carry firearms, because we have to have permits here. And there's separate permits to own and a separate permit to carry, but that's another show. So they make you watch this video, and you go in there and you're watched basically like a new mother watching you like hold her baby for the first time or something. And it's ridiculous. And they pass the firearm through like a special like hole in the wall, and you have to go into the range and then get it from the basket, from the hole in the wall, like it's like nuclear materials. And the range master is like,
why even bother doing this if they're gonna have to? This sounds like it takes longer than waiting at the fucking DMV for my license.
Pretty much.
Why even bother having this process? It's
well, here's the funniest part of my story, though. The second funniest part of the story. So as we're going in, I'm wearing, a zip hoodie, right?
I mean, it's like Massachusetts, so half the men probably drop the gun and go, "Oh, it's horrible."
That's why they do it. because
okay.
because it's non-licensed people, and who the hell knows who's going to walk in there, right? So because it's Massachusetts, so I walk in there and I'm wearing a zip hoodie, and the range master just walks up, and they're all 60-year-old dudes, right? And he walks up to me and he just holds his hand up for me to stop, and he's like, when you fire the firearm, the brass comes out the side and it's hot. You should zip up your jacket. And I said,
I thought it would come out cold.
I said, I'm firing a revolver. He's like, oh, okay. This is going.
Whoops.
But it's just, he was up my ass, figuratively speaking, the whole time. It was a thoroughly unenjoyable experience, besides the fact of saying that I'm at Smith & Wesson. And I wasn't by myself, I was with somebody else, but and I'm shooting, and I'm shooting this little snub-nosed thing, and I can't hit shit because obviously the barrel is so small, and it's my first time shooting. I can't hit shit. And he keeps coming up to me and trying to give me advice and stuff, and I'm like, get off me.
It's a fucking 22, man. What do you want?
Get off me. So,
this thing is lucky it killed. Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah. And then, and then the next time I go shooting, I'm up over the border in New Hampshire, an hour away, and they're like, whatever. They're like, shrug emoticon. Have fun. Yeah, so that's that. Okay. So let's move on to Gadget Corner that I completely strong-armed Billy into doing tonight. Thank you very much. I have a broken and corrupted iPhone 5. I must upgrade. I had a complete screw up with my attempt to order iPhone 6s, and I completely blame AT&T. And Billy, of course, within 10 seconds, ordered his own ass an iPhone 6s Plus. And now you must review it.
It sucks. If you have an iPhone 6 or an iPhone 6 Plus, just keep 6 or the 6 Plus. Don't even waste your time. It's retarded. It's an S. Yes, it's fast. Okay, I'll give them that. They put the new processor in there. There's, and that's the other really kind of sort of half-ass ridiculous thing that they did, is they put this new A9 chip inside the phone, this new A9 processor in the phone, and it's supposed to enable this feature called Hey Siri, where you say, "Hey Siri," stupid ass watch. It does it on the watch now too.
So you just said, "Hey
when
Siri,"
I say
and
it
your
again,
watch is like, "What up, playa?"
This is a feature that's been on the iPhone since the 5S, I think. It's a feature that's been enabled for a long time, but the only catch was that the phone had to be charging in order to use it.
Why?
So their excuse for telling people they had to upgrade to this massively more expensive phone is they were like, well, with the new phone, you can say, "Hey Siri," to your iPhone even when it's off and not charging. And I'm like, whoa, that's a huge upgrade.
Huge.
But not really.
But why did it have to be charged before?
I don't know. What do you want me to say about it? It's dumb. It's really dumb. Like,
well, see,
the worst part about it, I think, is that the camera sucks. It sucks everything that there is to suck.
What? This is a big deal, everybody.
Do you have any specific questions that you want to ask about it?
Yes, I got to explain to the listeners why this is a big deal, because basically...
Or maybe she doesn't.
The most hyped... Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
So the A9 processor is
Can you hear me?
Apple's newest processor. It's in the 6S and the 6S Plus.
I can. I don't know if
it's
he
also
can.
in the iPad Pro, and it's in, I think, the iPad Mini 4.
Can you hear me?
It is very fast.
Billy? Bill?
How do I describe it? Benchmarks have said that the iPhone 6S and the 6S Plus processor is as fast
Billy?
as the new MacBook and
Billy?
the MacBook Air. Now,
Bill,
whether
can you
that's
hear me?
true or not, I don't
Bill?
know, and quite frankly, I don't really care. For me, it's a phone. And
Hello?
as long as I can use it as a phone,
Billy?
it doesn't matter to me. So,
Bill, can you hear me or not?
we seem to have lost Leslie here.
Bill, can you hear me or not?
Or am I the only one that thinks that?
Hello?
Hello?
Leslie, can you hear
Billy?
me?
Rick?
I can hear you.
Okay, so we can hear each other,
Yeah, I don't know.
but he can't hear us. I don't know what he's done.
Hear anything that they're saying.
Billy?
That's odd. Technical difficulties.
Should we restart the call?
Rick, say something.
Something?
That's not good.
Hello?
Leslie, are you there?
Hello?
Hello. I still can't get Bill back. My Skype dumped.
Okay. Should I go back on the air?
We are on the air, dear. We never left.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So we're having some technical difficulties. Bill had about 3 minutes with no connectivity on the air with you all, but with no connectivity with me and Rick. So he was talking about while Rick works on getting Bill back.
I was always here.
There you are.
I never left.
Yeah, the weird thing is we could both hear you, but you couldn't hear us. I have no idea what happened.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, so we were talking. It was awesome. It was like one of the times on your old podcast. I'm reacting to what you're saying, and sometimes I'm asking questions, and you're answering my questions, and then you couldn't freaking hear me. You didn't know you were answering my questions.
Oh, good.
Remember that? Mask.
Yeah, this is a little different.
Yeah. So I do have questions. Before we get into the next break. So my freak out, which you didn't hear, was that you're saying the camera sucks because that's one of the biggest selling points, if not the biggest selling point of this upgrade. And it's what I was particularly interested in. So what's up with that?
It sucks. It's they've decided to take the route with their stuff that everybody else has decided to take, which is if you just add more megapixels, people will think that suddenly you've done something.
Well, that's not what I read, that's all that they did. I thought they added a number of other changes.
Well, Go get an iPhone 6S, go outside at nighttime and try to take a picture of anything with the flash on. It sucks. It's terrible.
And is that different from the 6?
Whatever they have done is terrible. It can't record video properly in low light conditions with one source of light. The optical sensor on the phone completely
that screws up
out.
my sex tape business for sure.
Well, nobody would be able to see it. That's for damn sure. Although on the plus side, the audio is very clear.
Okay.
No, the camera is not good this year. It's not, and people telling you that it is. I don't know. Maybe it's just the one that I got, but the one that I have is terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I have.
Are you going to return it?
No, because I'll eventually go to an Apple store when I have some damn time and, get them to exchange it for me. But I tried to talk to them the day after the release, and they were like, well, we got no appointments. You got to go to like a third-party place to get it fixed. I'm like, what are you fucking kidding me?
What?
You sold me a $1,000 fucking phone? And you're telling me that you can't fix it? And they're like, well, we have no reservations. I don't fucking care if you have no reservations or not. Bro, give me a new fucking phone or I'm going to beat you to death with this one. Like, what are
That's
you
a big
kidding me?
phone.
We're going to find out if this thing bends.
That's a big phone. Well, yeah. Okay. You brought up my next question. How about the bendy and the not bendy? Because that was the other.
First one didn't bend either. That's a hipster. That's a gay hipster myth. It's from it's from gay guys. It's from gay guys that put their phones in their back pockets of their skinny jeans and then they sit on them by accident. I mean, in order to bend the shit that the iPhone 6 Plus was made out of, in order to bend that shit, you have to put like 35 pounds of pressure against it.
I don't look. All I know is I want that.
Jeans are not that powerful.
I want that soundbite to be our promo on Midnight Movie Cowboys.
Well, it's true, though.
The Right Angle with Bill and Leslie, conservative politics. That's a gay hipster myth. Okay, let's take a break. And when we come back, the gadget that Bill actually is in favor of. Be back in a minute.
Wake up, America.
The biggest threat in those days were from factions seizing control of the governing apparatus and making decisions that were in their interests. Today, we call factions political parties. George Washington himself warned the nation about the dangers of factions in his farewell address.
Office Hours with Dr. A, 3 p.m. on Sundays, K98 Talk. We've got something to say to you, America.
Wondering why you're up early with us on a Sunday morning making a cocktail? News lately got you drinking? Hungover from the mainstream media by Sunday? We are, and we got you covered.
We sure do. We got your hangover cure for those weekly news blues. So sit back, top off your mimosa, and add some Baileys to that coffee.
Take a match to your copy of the New York Times. Light, funny, and oh yeah, news with booze.
And a lot of laughter.
Welcome to Bloody Marys and Broadsheets.
And we're back on the right angle with Bill and Leslie. So in exchange for being so kind and reviewing iPhone 6S for me, and Bill wanted to talk about his new love of his life, the Microsoft Surface Pro and Surface Book. And before I throw this to you, Bill, I did want to highlight to our listeners that my favorite quip about the iPhone, which I think you agree with, is that any iPhone S release, the S stands for sucker.
It does. It stands for sucker.
I really thought that this was going to be the exception. And I've never had one. I've never purchased an S release of iPhone. I went from nothing to 2 to 5, and now I'm stuck. So your recommendation is just go to 6 and forget the sucker.
I would forget the 6S. It sucks. I really, if I didn't have an upgrade, I wouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So rock on with Microsoft.
Go out and buy a Surface Pro. Just go and do it. I'll wait. Just go do it. Go do it right now. Store.microsoft.com. You want a laptop for your kid for college, for school? Are you a lazy fuck that likes to be able to write, like an old lady, but not have newspaper and shit to write on, take notes like a fucking old person? Do you like to, sit and draw dirty pictures of your boss while you're in a meeting, and you don't want any, forget about leaving scraps of paper behind? Just go get a Surface Pro. Just go do it. Just go and do it. Get the 8 gig. Get the model with the 8 gigs of RAM though. Don't get the 4, because that's the iPhone 6S of Surface Pros. You can't fucking run Windows 10 on 4 gigs of RAM. I don't give a shit who you are or what you say. It can't fucking be done. It can't be done. Bullshit. No way. Go out, buy the Surface Pro, get the i5 8 gig model, 256 gig SSD, pre-order the Surface Pro 4, and enjoy the rest of your life. Just go and do it.
What are you going to do with it?
Everything. You fucking do anything with it. That's the greatest part about it. You can sit and podcast like I'm doing on it right now.
Oh, you're podcasting on it right now.
I am. I'm podcasting on my Surface Pro 3 right now.
Really? And you couldn't hear me and Ricky for 5 minutes.
In fact, I'm also sitting here interacting on my Xbox Live right now while we were at break. I was sitting here typing a message to Larry Herb, aka Major Nelson, on Xbox Live, telling him, hey, thanks for fixing the bug that I was having with the YouTube app on my Xbox One today.
You were texting with the I Dream of Jeannie actor?
Is that what his name? Is that really his name?
Oh wait, that's the late Larry Hagman.
No, yeah, Larry Herb, HYRB.
Okay, you said Major Nelson.
That's his like his nickname in Xbox Live is Major Nelson.
Okay, I know it's before your time, darling. That was.
Okay, look, I'm not old. I don't know that.
Larry Hagman's character on I Dream of Jeannie.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yes.
Didn't want to know that. But
now you know.
While we were on break, I connected to my Xbox One, which is online upstairs in the master bedroom. I connected to it. I was reading some messages from people. I was posting on somebody's timeline on Xbox Live, and then I sent Larry Herb a text and said, hey, Larry, thanks for fixing that bug in the new version of the Xbox One beta for the YouTube app. Thanks. So you can do all kinds of great stuff with this thing. It's awesome. You can do anything.
Okay. What about the, I think you had something to say about the
so Surface Book. Surface Book is a new thing that Microsoft is coming out with. It's Microsoft's vision of what a Windows 10 PC should look like, a Windows 10 hybrid PC. Now, when they say hybrid, they don't mean a tablet with a keyboard and a pen. They mean a laptop, an actual physical laptop, which can become a tablet, be used with a stylus, and then docked onto the laptop chassis, and then used as an actual laptop. The difference between the Surface Pro and the Surface Book is that one is actually a laptop, in theory, and the other is a tablet which becomes a laptop. Don't know if that makes sense.
I'm a layperson. I mean, not as frequently as I would like, but I'm a layperson, so I'm just listening. Get it?
I don't know. I mean,
I hope my mom didn't hear that part. But there's another funny thing that you wanted to say about this release.
Oh, right. So
we have 2 minutes.
They have this new PR guy who's on stage talking about the improvements that they've made to the Microsoft Surface Pen, which is the stylus that they use with the Surface. And he's going back and forth and talking about, it does all this new pressure and sensitivity and ink and yada, yada, yada.
Because
and
remember, because Apple, when they released their new iPad or whatever a few weeks ago, for the first time, they brought in a stylus.
Yeah, we talked about this the other day.
I'm refreshing the listener's memory in case they missed that episode.
Yeah, I know, but we have 3 minutes, so.
Okay, go.
So he's telling everybody about this pen and how great it is, and then he holds up the new pen and he's hiding the top of the pen with his hand, and he goes, just like Steve Jobs or Tim Cook from Apple would, he goes, "This is the greatest pen we've ever designed since the one we released last year." But some people release a pen. And he goes, so I heard that some people are releasing pencils now. Pencils are cool. But you know what pencils really need? And everybody's like, huh? Why don't pencils have erasers? Some people, I hear, have released a pencil without an eraser. That doesn't really make any sense to me. So we're just going to say, and then he lowers his hand and he goes, we'll just call this an erasable pen.
Sick. Troll.
Very, very cool. Very
cool.
So
they just unbelievably upstaged Apple's release of Apple Pencil or whatever, which, as you went on correctly, that it's a stylus that Microsoft has had for years that Apple, Steve Jobs didn't want to have for years. And they completely upstaged them because they're like, okay, now here's our pen that we've had forever. Now it's an eraser. So what you're writing, you can literally erase with the back of the pen. It's huge.
Yeah, it's so cool. Because in the present edition of Surface, you actually have to hold a button down on the side of the pen to erase. Then you have to kind of be really delicate with how you trace over the text to erase it. And with the Apple Pencil, there's no feature to do this. It has to be done with an in-app gesture or tool to do it in a context menu or something. So it's really kind of a pain in the ass to do with the pen. So what they just went ahead and did was they made a tiny little change to the pen. So now you turn it upside down and that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Billy, for both of those reviews. And we got to get out of here. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining in with us tonight. You can catch us, of course, on SoundCloud and on iTunes.
And if
thank you very
subscribed
much.
on iTunes already and you're having problems, unsubscribe and then resubscribe, and it should work.
Yes, please do that. Billy, where can we find you?
Don't find me.
Okay. You can find me on Twitter and all the usual places. Thank you very much to our Politainment Network, our K98 Talk Network, our producer of the show, head to honcho of K98 Talk, Ricky Molinlabe Robinson, and we will see you next week.
The light bulb's getting dim. 'Cause meltdown